Hello, good American people. I am an Egyptian man. I want to send a message to you. The goal of this message is to tell you how bad and hooligan the regime of the United States is. The United States regime is a barbarian and anti-human regime. It wants to manipulate over every country in this world by invading, by proxy war, or by making troubles between the people of any country. They are killing people without any bit of mercy, killing children, women, and old without any bit of mercy. Do you good people know what this hooligan regime did in Iraq? It starts with an entire isolation over Iraq. For 13 years, I mean by entire isolation, from spare parts of machines to the baby's milk powder and even pencils was prohibited. You don't know how many child women have died because of lack of medicine. This human genocide before invading Iraq 2003.
My fellow citizens, at this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger. On my orders, coalition forces have begun striking selected targets of military importance to undermine Saddam Hussein's ability to wage war. These are opening stages of what will be a broad and concerted campaign. More than 35 countries are giving crucial support, from the use of naval and air bases, to help with intelligence and logistics, to the deployment of combat units. Every nation in this coalition has chosen to bear the duty and share the honor of serving in our common defense. To all the men and women of the United States Armed Forces now in the Middle East, the peace of a troubled world and the hopes of an oppressed people now depend on you. That trust is well placed. The enemies you confront will come to know your skill and bravery. The people you liberate will witness the honorable and decent spirit of the American military. In this conflict, America faces an enemy who has no regard for conventions of war or rules of morality. Saddam Hussein has placed Iraqi troops and equipment in civilian areas, attempting to use innocent men, women, and children as shields for his own military, a final atrocity against his people. I want Americans and all the world to know that coalition forces will make every effort to spare innocent civilians from harm. A campaign on the harsh terrain of a nation as large as California could be longer and more difficult than some predict. And helping Iraqis achieve a united, stable, and free country will require our sustained commitment. We come to Iraq with respect for its citizens, for their great civilization, and for the religious faiths they practice. We have no ambition in Iraq except to remove a threat and restore control of that country to its own people. I know that the families of our military are praying that all those who serve will return safely and soon. Millions of Americans are praying with you for the safety of your loved ones and for the protection of the innocent. For your sacrifice, you have the gratitude and respect of the American people. And you can know that our forces will be coming home as soon as their work is done. Our nation enters this conflict reluctantly, yet our purpose is sure. The people of the United States and our friends and allies will not live at the mercy of an outlaw regime that threatens the peace with weapons of mass murder. We will meet that threat now with our Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, and Marines, so that we do not have to meet it later with armies of firefighters and police and doctors on the streets of our cities. Now that conflict has come, the only way to limit its duration is to apply decisive force. And I assure you, This will not be a campaign of half measures, and we will accept no outcome but victory. My fellow citizens, the dangers to our country and the world will be overcome. We will pass through this time of peril and carry on the work of peace. We will defend our freedom. We will bring freedom to others, and we will prevail. May God bless our country and all who defend her.
We know they have weapons of mass destruction. We know they have active programs. There isn't any debate about it.
I don't know what more evidence we need. No discussion, no debate, no negotiation.
The decision to go to war is in the hands of Saddam Hussein.
You can't distinguish between Al-Qaeda and Saddam when you talk about the war on terror. It's a man who has got connections with Al-Qaeda. The danger is that Al-Qaeda becomes an extension of Saddam's madness.
It is absolutely crucial to winning the war on terror.
If you want to keep the peace, you've got to have the authorization to use force.
Office of Management and Budget estimated it would be something under $50 billion. How
Outside estimates say up to $300 billion.
Baloney.
There is no doubt that Saddam Hussein now has weapons of mass destruction. There is no doubt that he is amassing them to use against our friends, against our allies, and against us.
I will not wait on events while dangers gather. I will not stand by as peril draws closer and closer.
We don't want the smoking gun to be a mushroom cloud.
If the United Nations can't act, and if Saddam Hussein won't act, the United States will lead a coalition of nations to disarm Saddam Hussein.
There was a second human genocide when they was invading Iraq. The American army did not fight a man to a man. They are killing every and each moving thing. And after clearing the region and be sure of it's clear, they went in. There was 200,000 dead and casualties of Iraqi civilian people. After the fall down of Saddam Hussein, there was a third human genocide. The American intelligence agents started to make thousands of bombs and explosions in many regions in Iraq to evacuate and change the demography of Iraq as they planned to divide Iraq to pieces according to religious or tribal, and of course to make the green zone. This took about 10 years of clearing and human genocide by explosions. There was 400,000 dead of Iraqi people. After that, they started with a new scenario, ISIS. ISIS, as any naive knows in this world, is just an American made, a media made. They just say, be aware, ISIS is here. After many explosions, many dead and casualties, they say, look, they are there. So they started a new battle with many dead and many casualties. After a month or two, they said ISIS is in Syria, in Libya, in Egypt, and in Yemen, and so on. The United States regime is bad, malicious, and malignant entity, especially when I saw the American people abused by the cops and killed in many cases. That's it. Thanks for listening.